I love this church, and worship is one of my favorite aspects of this community. I've been a worship associate for a year now, and quite recently, music was mentioned in a worship associate meeting. A fellow worship associate asked our opinions on music and services. I jumped at the chance to speak about musical awareness in a service. Mind you, I didn't necessarily jump, as it was late in the evening. But I sure was excited. Music is very important to me. In fact, it's a deeply ingrained aspect of our lifestyles. It affects our moods and accompanies our celebrations. From deeply personal weddings to jolly Christmas carols, the classic birthday song, and the mix of tunes at a high school prom. I'd like to read a passage from the Unitarian Universalist Pocket Guide concerning music and Unitarian Universalist worship. The swell of a great pipe organ resonating about you during morning service might well offer the whole meaning of worship to some hearts. String quartets may delight us with eyes, soloists with the jazz style perfected by Vista. Some of our congregations are developing dance choirs to reinforce the truth that worship is as much of an action of the body as a direction of the mind. Several of our smaller congregations get the whole congregation circle dancing on special Sundays. Wouldn't that be fun? There is a growing organization, the Unitarian Universalist Musicians Network, that meets every summer to hone professional skills, exchange ideas, and encourage its members in the musical arts of worship. More and more, music in all its forms reveals itself as a touchstone of Unitarian Universalist worship. Well, when I read that, my heart glowed. Doesn't that sound spectacular? Using music so richly to brighten the worship experience. In that passage we realize there are varieties of musical forms and expressions, all with their unique traits. I loved it. As Unitarian Universalists, we gather to accept and celebrate diversity, and as we can see from those forms of music, each one could bring something different to the table. That is sure the case in our congregation, with our amazing choir, our choir director, our pianists and organists, as well as our UU band and individual musicians. I'm inspired by music, and I love the fact that music has always been present, and is always present. So I've gathered the courage to make music the theme to my first sermon. Let's take a look at the history of music. Music has been around for many centuries, in many different forms. If you look in the Hebrew scriptures, the prophet Isaiah says, "For you will go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills will break forth into shouts of joy before you, and all the trees of the fields will clap their hands." In this verse, we can imagine all of nature rejoicing in sounds, a massive orchestra of earth and plants. There are many more formal songs in the Hebrew scriptures as well. The book of Psalms is a collection of 150 songs, many of them attributed to King David. The unique thing about the Psalms are their moods. Many are songs of praise, like Psalm 81. Sing for joy to God, our strength. Shout joyfully to the God of Jacob. Raise a song, strike the cymbal, the sweet-sounding lyre with the harp. Some of the psalms are familiar, like Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. This is probably one of the most comforting and reassuring songs. The psalm preceding this one, Psalm 22, is more of a whining and complaining song. My God, why have you forsaken me? Jesus is said to have quoted this verse on the cross. The song continues. Oh my God, I cry by day that you do not answer, and by night that I have no rest. I have been in moods like that before. And I'm guessing many of you are familiar with those moments of despair as well. Some of the psalms are beautiful prayers like Psalm 19. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my Redeemer. Others sound a lot less holy or refined, like in Psalm 139. If only you would slay the wicked, O God, for I count them as my enemies. There are short psalms like 117. Praise the Lord, all you nations. Extol them, all you peoples. For great is his love towards us, and the faithfulness of the Lord endures forever. 2 short verses. That's it. Psalm 119 has 111 verses. Don't worry, I won't be reading that one. What I like about the Psalms is that they cover all the feelings, all moods, and none are too mundane or whiny or angry to make it into this sacred text. That's how I like music, expressing all I find inside, and accepting them as a part of who I am, through the music. Of course, the Hebrew scriptures are just a small segment of musical literature and history. There are sacred texts and traditions of many faiths. For instance, there are many ancient Sanskrit texts, some of which are still chanted to this day. I have actually visited a meditation center and an ashram where they still continue this practice. Or, if you look at ancient Greek music, you would see mixed choir groups and instruments, including those with double reeds and strings. Music was even an important part of education in Greece, and boys were taught musical literacy starting at age 6. Greek musical theory eventually became the basis for Western religious music and classical music. As you can probably imagine, music back then was a humongous part of everyday entertainment, and it was quite a process. One had to have a working instrument and invaluable knowledge of musical styles. Minstrels and poets were valued in high holding. If you look at our modern world, music is still held in high esteem. Musicians and singers are seen at events constantly. Movies are played alongside tracks of legendary artists. Radio stations are accessible worldwide. Music is constant in rituals and services, and everywhere you go, you'll see someone with an iPod plugged into their ears. A shift has occurred in recent years, from record players to cassettes to CDs and finally to plain sound files. With this shift came the presence of music in uber extremes. This brings me to a personal reflection on me, myself, and music. I love listening to music, various types and tones, classical to rap, soul to soft rock, metal to alternative, reggae to techno, jazz to chanting. Often, during the day, I'll turn on my radio, play a CD, or plug into my headphones. If I really want to zone out, I'll turn up the music to a point where I'm in danger of going deaf. Maybe not the smartest decision, but with the music resounding in my ears, run, weightlift, lay down, or participate in other activities, I find an inner haven to listen to the emotion and feeling in the rhythm and melody of the music. Often, music pushes me to a point of feeling that I'm not used to. That can happen in a service or event, for example. The music holds meaning, and I experience its meaning. These messages are various, but when I let myself dwell and participate in the sounds, I most definitely come out of that experience with a new resolve or new emotion. Another way I can relate to music is the fact that I love writing poems, which often result as raps. For those of you who do not love rap music as I do, raps are words of meaning, often rhyming, that flow with a story or belief and a rhythmic pattern. I love being able to write out whatever's in my thoughts, especially when the outcome is more than just words, metaphorically and literally. I wrote a rap during the week in which I expressed my thoughts on music and its existence and all which surrounds us. I want to share it with you. In case I go too fast, you can find the music in the insert of your order of service. Recovering from sickness, so if I sound a little raspy, I'll just add to my musical talent, I hope. Alright. Music's all around. Music is a path of enveloping sound As the wind whistles a melody, raindrops blink and thunder resounds into a rainbow-filled serenity of laughter and shouts, jumping in puddles, letting love out in a magnificent blast. Music is strong, we dance to her laugh. We sing alongside her, we walk along the path. We let her slide off her lips, flow from our fingertips. Music is a transition from emotion to sound. Music is real, she's all around. She's the pulsing of your heart, the drumming of the rhythm of your drumming fingers, the whistle of the jay, the way in which you say. Music's all around, she's the background to our existence. Listen, hear that? That's music in her melodious laugh. Music's all around from birth to death. In another spirit, she expresses herself through our lips and in other ways from our fingertips each and every day. Whew, I took my breath away. Well, with those words, I express my feelings for music. Just a few sentences, but plethora of meaning. In that rap, I present an idea. Music is all around. This is so true. Wherever you go, music is present, whether man-made or through the natural rhythm of life. With this realization comes a chance to go out and embrace the sound of life. Perhaps paying attention to the message in your favorite song, the way the wind whistles through the summer rains, or the amusing singing of a family member in the shower. These are all wonderful ways of reaching into a deeper, more fulfilling awareness of life. So I task you with this. As you leave the service later on today, tune your ears and open your mind and see whether or not you begin to realize a harmony of patterns and rhythms, tunes and tones, and all that is around you. I assure you, music, she's just waiting to be found. So let us sit back, relax, and let's tune our ears and minds to this next piece of music performed by Matthew Class. Thank you.